Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to the video, and today we're here for a snowstorm breakdown. We're going to be doing one final update on this winter storm before things really get going here in the Northeast, okay? So you may notice that we have a band of snow on the back end of this severe system that we've been talking about for a while now, and it has finally formed, stretching from North Carolina all the way back up into New York, starting to bring some light to moderate snow. We go into midnight tonight, that really intensifies, okay? Pretty much all of the New England area is going to be in for some heavy snowfall. The mid-Atlantic area as well could get some. Appalachia, even the Cumberland Plateau could get some heavy snowfall, okay? So definitely be looking out, and this snow could continue once we get into noon tomorrow even. We're still going to have snow in areas like Maine, even tomorrow evening, more snow in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York. Okay, so we're going to get snow for quite a while here, alright? So let's go ahead and break down the specific threats that this is going to bring, starting off by looking at the watches, warnings, and advisories. Purple are your winter weather advisories. You could see a few inches of snow in the next 24 hours, but pinks are your winter storm warnings, where you're likely to see a lot of snow in the next 24 hours. Okay, we have some in New York, some in pretty much the entire state of Vermont here almost, except for one county. New Hampshire, Maine, okay, all those areas have winter storm warnings in some portion of the state, so look out for that. And then we have the flip side of this as well, where you're not just going to see snow, okay, you're also going to see heavy rainfall if you're on the eastern side of New England here, okay. We have flood watches in effect all the way from the Delmarva Peninsula back up into the Maine-Canada border here, okay. So flooding will be a real concern with this storm. Speaking of which, excessive rainfall outlook. Today we have a moderate risk of flash flooding for the rest of the night here in portions of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. In the red there, you have a 40% chance to see flash flooding, okay. This is looking like a very concerning flooding system here, okay. I would not be surprised if we wake up tomorrow with a couple of flash flood warnings in this area. Moving on to tomorrow, okay, we have a slight risk of flash flooding here. By this time, the rain will have moved up to Maine, rain to Maine, haha. Eastern portions of the state have a slight risk of flash flooding. That's a 15% risk. Tuesday, we're not expecting anything. Wednesday, nothing. And then Thursday, that's a completely different storm system, okay? So next up, I want to talk about the gusty winds, alright? This is going to be the main threat with this storm, actually, are some damaging winds, okay? So this is the wind gust right now. Let me go ahead and take this full screen here. Okay, so you may notice the winds are pretty calm. They're starting to pick up here in like Long Island, eastern New Jersey, southeastern Delmarva. You could get some sustained winds of 30 miles per hour even right now. Gusts maybe even up to 40 or 45, okay? But it really starts to intensify once we get into like 2 a.m. tonight. Alright, you go into eastern Massachusetts around Provincetown. I mean, you could be looking at winds up to 35, maybe even higher than that, miles per hour, gusts up to 50. And then you get into like 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. I mean, you guys, some of these areas are literally going to be dealing with damaging winds that you could see in a severe thunderstorm, okay? We've got sustained winds over 40 miles per hour. Gusts could easily get up to 60, all right, in Massachusetts, potentially some portions of Rhode Island here. But the main damaging wind threat is going to stay off to the east here, okay? So that's very important to keep in mind. You don't need to be that concerned about damaging winds unless you're really here in eastern portions of New England, okay? We go into 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're still going to have those damaging winds here in Chatham and Provincetown, as well as Nantucket, okay? I mean, Nantucket, you could be getting gusts, like, over 60 miles per hour even, okay? We do have some high wind warnings in effect here. I forgot to mention that on the watches, warnings, and advisories, but we have some high wind warnings, so be looking out for that, okay? Long Island could get some gusty winds, but by 11 a.m. tomorrow, this system will completely leave us in terms of the gusty wind threat, okay? So that's good to know. Finally, we're going to be talking about the snowfall threat with this snowstorm here, okay? We're on the moderate end of things for snow totals, I would say, okay? It's 9 p.m. tomorrow. This is what you could be dealing with on the ground between now and then. Some dustings of snow from North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan. It's whenever you start to get into like eastern West Virginia and like western Pennsylvania, you get to start to get into that few inch of snow range, and then you get into New York, and I mean central New York, you guys, you could be in for half a foot of snow potentially around this whole area. There's several readings over 5 inches here, okay? I mean, just pick out your location in this area if you are here. 7.1 inch reading here in Pine Hill, so look out for that. Some areas could get over half a foot of snow between the next 24 hours, okay? So very dangerous snow snowfall totals in some areas in the mountains. Northern Vermont and northeastern New York here, okay? We have a reading that's showing over 10 inches of snow here. Northern Vermont, just north of Morristown, okay? Which is really a pretty populated area, Morrisville and Morristown, okay? So we could get some dangerous snowfall conditions between now and 9 p.m. tomorrow in northern Vermont, so be very aware of that, especially like Richford and Montgomery as well. Over 8 inches of snow possible, 8.5 inches even, okay? We're going to see some heavy snowfall in some of these areas. New Hampshire, northern New Hampshire, kind of the same deal as northern Vermont, but only extreme northern portions of New Hampshire, around Timberland and Clarksville, where not a lot of people live, so it's not a huge deal. Maine, pretty much the entirety of western Maine is going to be in for like half a foot in extreme western Maine, so definitely be looking out for that. That's it for the snowfall totals. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Please be prepared for this winter storm to come in. If you have any loose objects outside, be sure to hatch those down, okay? Don't be going outside in this. Damaging winds, snow could create some like isolated snow squall and blizzard conditions, okay? Low visibility. I mean, all the threats are in play here for a classic winter storm, so stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.